We're talking about the eighth, a series of unfortunate event novel. And this is The Hostel Hospital. So from here on out, when you see one of these reviews, expect spoilers for the previous book because there is no way of me talking about the current book without spoiling the previous book because these happen sequentially back to back going forward with the mainline books. Now, the supplemental books, that's a different beast, and we'll talk about that. But I must spoil the Vile Village. At the end of that book, we discover that the Baudelaires are tired of leaving it up to the adults, and specifically Mr. Poe, in trying to find them a guardian, and they are on the hunt to figure out what VFD is. They thought it was the Village of Foul Devotees, but it is not, and after narrowly escaping with their lives at the end of the last book, they are on the run from the law, where they have been blamed for the death of Count Omar, not Olaf, Count Omar, because of the Daily Punctilio, a terrible paper that will rear its ugly head throughout the rest of this series. They're on the run. They end up going to a general store where they try to send a telegram to Mr. Poe, which will be explained in the first supplemental book on the fate of that. And then they end up going with a group called VFD, which are the Volunteers Fighting Disease, as they go to a hospital. And in this hospital, is like this huge library of records, and they're going to try to figure out what happened with their house and like what happened with what is VFD. And meanwhile, Count Olaf and his group are going to the hospital because they're trying to redact what they have done. So, anyway, for the most part in this story, we don't see Count Olaf. He takes the identity of the, like, essentially his job is that he goes over the loudspeaker of the hospital and gives directions and stuff, which is just him being Count Olaf over a microphone. So we hear him, but we don't see him. Meanwhile, we do encounter every one of his cronies, including Esme. Esme has a big role as an antagonist in this. And it does lead to probably my favorite disguises I think the orphans ever taken this whole series, which is Klaus and Sunny disguise themselves as doctors, and Count Olaf, and mind you, Sunny just started walking at the very end of the last book, so she's very new to walking, and the bald man and the hook-handed man mistake Klaus and Sunny for the white-faced ladies. Not making that up. They do that because they're stupid. And I laughed so hard. I won't spoil why they have to be dressed up as nurses, but it's pretty good. Also, Klaus does some pretty good stalling in this that made me laugh. But the big thing in this book, in the social commentary department, because yes, this is another one of the social commentary ones, it's talking about the American healthcare system, at least at this time, and the hospital's slogan is that they care more. Essentially, they care more about paperwork than they do their patients. And like the Volunteers Fighting Disease, all they do is sing and give people balloons that are dying. That's all they do, which is also pretty funny. This is the first book that I think we get a little bit of answers. This is a more satisfying of these series of unfortunate events books. This is the beginning of hey, there's a lot more going on than just our parents, um, our house burning down and our parents dying. We also get a maybe one of them still alive. We also find out that Jacques Snicket has some sort of relationship with their parents, along with a mysterious man, because they do find part of the Baudelaire file, which has mostly been taken by others, other people. It's interesting. Hostel Hospital is interesting because it's finally like, hey, we can't just do the same thing over and over again with the Baudelaires getting a new Guardian every book. We can't do that. We've done that seven if we count Olaf. We've done it 7 times. We can't do that anymore. And so this one, it does something different, and I like it. I think it's a much better book than several of these books have been. I'm not saying any of these books have been bad, but this was a step up from Vile Village. Vile Village was starting to get stale by that point. So it's nice that we get we get something different, and the ending of this genuinely shocked me. I will say that it genuinely shocked me, and left me wanting more. Because anytime in this series we get a question kind of answered, another like 5 questions pop up in its place. It's crazy. But next time, we're not going to be tackling another series of unfortunate events book. Rather, we'll be tackling Lemony Snicket's unauthorized autobiography. But before that, my score for The Hostel Hospital is a solid 4.7 out of 5. It is worth your time to check this one out. It's very good. It's a nice change of pace. There's some genuinely shocking things that happen in this that you wouldn't expect in a children's book. But it's worth your time to check out. Also, a weird fact. These weird splotches on this book, no idea where they came from. I don't know. I have a box set with all 13 of these books. And it didn't have it when I pulled it out, but I left it sitting out, and then suddenly we got these 2 splotches on it. I don't know. Weird stuff. Anyway, have a nice day.